as you're coming into Wall Street and starting to rise, it's not just about capital, right? It's not just about knowledge. People have to want to work with you, right?
Yeah.
They want to mentor you, they want to bring you into their deals.
Yeah.
So, what are some of the interpersonal things that you're doing as you're ascending? Before we get to Vista, when you're at
Yeah.
Goldman Sachs, and what are you doing to create, like me, trust me, work with me? Because there's not a lot of black men
Yeah.
or women
Yeah.
in that world.
Right.
So, you have to be a likable, trustable person. So, what are you doing?
You have to be reliable. That's one of the most important things. And, I tell, my kids this, it is like my parents would always say, okay, if you're, on time, you're 15 minutes late.
Your parents told you that.
Oh, of course.
Mm.
Yeah. So that's just the nature of how that generation was really trying to, put a perspective and views into my generation as to how we had to behave in an environment that was now open to us for the first time. Okay, remember this, one of the greatest things the civil rights movement did was create an opening and access to jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And jobs where we had, in many cases, very little insights into. There were no engineers in my neighborhood. We had two black men who worked in engineering companies, and they were draftsmen. Okay, but they were not engineers. So we didn't have the ability to go talk to what another engineer did. Well, what is engineering? How does that work? What's your role? What's your job? And so when we enter those environments, and many of my, call it peers and colleagues that I grew up with ended up going into engineering, we became our own infrastructure of, well, here's what engineering is, and here's what I've learned. And, this one worked at Rockwell, this one worked at, General Foods, whatever it might be. And so you learned through those engagements.